Say this is the land of the free, but tell me something, brother. If freedom was really free, why does it come with a price tag on every single paycheck? Why do the ones who built this land with sweat and soil now got to beg for crumbs off of their own tables? I look around this country, the same one that I love, and I see good men paying the cost for lies they never told and wars they never started. Freedom ain't free, and lately it don't even feel like it's ours anymore. Every 2 weeks they reach in your pocket. State, federal, defense, education, 100 clever names for taking what's yours. They call it the price of liberty, but liberty's looking mighty expensive these days. You see, on one side of this two-headed beast, they're cutting blank checks for foreign wars, billions flying out the doors to fund battles and lands most Americans can't find on a map. They say it's for freedom, but whose? Our schools are struggling, our bridges are rusting, and veterans can't get an appointment at the VA without a 6-month wait. They'll tell you to support the troops and then ship them off again, while the same politicians' sons are safe in gated neighborhoods watching it all on CNN. We spent trillions overseas, but we can't keep baby formula on the shelves. That ain't defense, brother. That's betrayal. And while one side is busy dropping boom booms overseas, the other side's dropping your tax dollars on social experiments. Headlines brag about gender-affirming surgery funds and diversity grants for drag queen education. They call it progress, and I call it madness. They say let people live how they want. All right, but why do I got to pay for it? Why the same government that can't fund the insulin got millions for surgery slogans and rainbow parades? Why are we paying for ideology when the elderly can't afford dentures and diabetics ration their own medicine? They cut food assistance for mamas trying to feed their babies, but somehow there's money to burn for things most Americans never asked for and never agreed to. They divided us on purpose, left and right, blue and red, but in the end, they both reach in the same pocket, yours. You're working overtime, busting your back to fill the fridge, and both sides are arguing over who's going to get your sweat. Meanwhile, the grocery prices are climbing, gas jumps overnight, and they got the nerve to tell you that inflation's cooling. Yeah, it is, maybe in their zip code. They don't see the dad choosing between his light bill and his medicine. They don't see the single mom driving an hour to work because rent near town went sky high. They don't see the elderly woman cutting her pills in half because Medicare won't cover the full dose anymore. That's the real America, not the slogans on a bumper sticker, and she's bleeding out. They tell you, pick a side, but both sides are the same snake. One head bites with war and the other with ideology, and the poison's flowing through the same veins. Your paycheck, your faith, and your kid's future. They argue on TV, but they toast in the back rooms, and they sell you freedom while they rent your soul back to you on credit. You can vote every 4 years, sure, but you can't vote your way out of corruption, not when both parties are eating from the same trough. Freedom ain't about ballots anymore. It's about boundaries, and they've done crossed every one. That's why I say, as a Muslim, as an American, as a man, real freedom don't come from the ballot box. It comes from the heart that bows only to the Creator. Because when you submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you stop bowing to these false gods, money, media, party lines, and pride. Islam don't need Washington's permission to be free. It already sets men free from pharaohs, and it did so long before presidents ever existed. Freedom in Islam ain't chaos, it's clarity. It ain't do what you want, it's do what's right. And what's right is protecting the weak, feeding the hungry, and calling tyranny by its real name, no matter what flag it's hiding behind. So here's my message. The system's broke because the soul of the people is. We traded virtue for comfort, truth for convenience, and faith for entertainment. But the tide's turning. You can feel it. People are waking up from Tennessee to Texas, from Detroit to Damascus, and they're seeing the same truth. Freedom is not free anymore. It's earned, it's guarded, and it's anchored in something higher than man. We the people, Muslims, Jews, Christians, and none at all, got to start standing shoulder to shoulder again and stop letting suits divide us and start demanding accountability. Because the Almighty don't bless a nation that forgets justice. And no empire stands long once it taxes the righteous to fund the corrupt. So let the politicians talk. Let the pundits spin. We'll build our communities and we'll raise our families and we'll keep our faith. And when the smoke clears, maybe then this land can remember what free was supposed to mean. Because Islam is still the ancient medicine for the modern disease. And that's all I got to say about it.